There is always trouble brewing in the East. You hardly need it from the Sibyl's mouth. The yellow sounds of discord are brought forth by the ill winds that blow out of the south.
You know, Phidippides was not the man who ran from the battlefield of Marathon to the Acropolis. He actually ran an ultramarathon from Athens to Sparta. My commitment is to do the best that I can, just to leave it all out in the course.
I think about touching that statue every single day and kissing the feet of Leonardo's.
It's what keeps me going. I mean, I live for this.
I'm human. I have self-doubt and I have anxiety and worry about the outcome of this race.
Well, mentally I don't feel 100% okay, but I'll handle it.
It gets difficult now, okay? This is where you gotta start digging a little bit deeper now.
Finish the race, or you don't finish the race. There's no halfway house anyway.
Phidippides was running to save his family. He knew the invading Persians would slay his family. It would be the end of Greece. He was running to save democracy, to save what has become Western thought.
So you're giving up, are you?
Barney Spender, or Barney Spenderus, if you prefer to be called. Welcome to the 5th Greek Business and Arts Festival. Tell me, where are you from?
Well, a very good evening to you, Tina. Nice to be chatting with you. I'm one of those mixtures, I'm afraid. I was born and brought up in England, but my mother is Irish. So she was born in Dalkey almost 100 years ago during a gun battle in the Civil War. And so I ended up going to Trinity College Dublin for my education, and so that's sort of my Irish heartbeat. So I'm also an Irish citizen as well. So I've sort of been brought up between the two, although I've travelled a bit as well.
Ah, very good. And how exactly did you get involved in filmmaking?
Well, that was a bit of a mistake, I suppose. It was never meant to be. Except, actually, that's not quite true, because when I was a student at Trinity, I was very much a member of Players, the drama society, and did a lot of acting and had great ideas that I was going to be a movie star and win myself an Oscar as a matinee idol. The sensible people in theatre then realised that I was not really cut out for that. So I ended up moving into journalism and into sports journalism, which has been my trade, but for the last 30 years. But at the same time, I've always retained that desire to be involved in theatre or be involved in film. And so that's how it came about, really. I got an idea to make this film about the Spartathlon, this amazing ultra marathon in Greece from Athens to Sparta. I wrote about it. I talked about it on the radio a lot. In Athens, I worked in Paris for Radio France International. I did stuff for them. And when I told people about this idea, they still wouldn't believe me that runners would run 153 miles or 246 kilometers without stopping. And they would do it in one go in 36 hours. People would just go, "You're mad. This doesn't happen." And so I thought the only way I can convince people of this madness is to show them and to make a film. So that's basically how it started, the idea. It was necessity.
And this was after, I know, excuse me, I know you went over to Greece to cover the Olympics and as a sports journalist, and then you ended up staying there for 5 years. You must have really loved it.
Well, Greece has this effect on people.
Yes, yeah. And tell me something, is The Road to Sparta the first film you've made with a Greek theme to it?
Yeah, well, it's the first film I made.
Oh, is it? Ah.
Yes, absolutely. And just you're absolutely right. I went to Athens in 2004 for the Olympics on the basis that I'd never covered one, and if I only covered one in my lifetime as a sports journalist, it was going to be in Athens, because obviously the history links and so on and so forth. It just seemed to be the one for me. So my wife very kindly agreed that we would leave London and take our two children, who were 2 and 1 at the time, and drive to Athens and go and stay there. It was meant to be for 6 months. And as you say, we got rather hooked into life in Athens, and it was just fantastic. So, and it's an amazing place to bring up your small children as well. So, and yeah, 6 months became 5 years.
Well, I suppose a bit like now with COVID and so many people were having to work from home, you were ahead of the posse, because I suppose as a journalist, you could basically work from most places and just do, Skype or whatever. It wasn't so difficult. Or did you actually have to really, should you have been back in London sitting behind a desk?
Well, I was, don't forget, this is 2004. I don't think Skype existed in 2004. I don't think Facebook existed in 2004. It was a little while ago. It was mobile phones and laptops. Yes, that was it. So I had some strings. I was a freelance journalist, so I was working as a journalist for various newspapers in Britain. I had contact. I had previously worked in South Africa for a few years, so I had quite a few global contacts in South Africa and in Hong Kong and in Australia and so on. So I became my own little agency when I got to Athens, writing about the build-up for the Olympics. And I also was very lucky in that the Athens municipality was setting up a radio station for foreigners coming to Athens for the games, called Athens International Radio. And they gave me a job. So suddenly I had a regular job with them, and I was freelancing for plenty of other people as well. But I became an instant Greek in the sense that I had 3 or 4 jobs on the go at the same time.
That's brilliant. That was very lucky, actually. That radio station started up just in time to give you a job.
It
now,
was.
listen, you have Ragged Rock Films as your company. And I know at the moment you are making a film called Tόμmυ, which is the story of an Irish powerlifter from Drogheda. Tell me a bit about that. Where did that come from?
Again, all these ideas, they take a long time to germinate with me. And with The Road to Sparta, that probably took about 5 or 6 years before I made the film, with all these ideas rumbling around and seeing it and working out what to do. Tόμmυ was similar. In 2015, I was invited to commentate on a Paralympic powerlifting event in Hungary. And I met Tόμmυ McCaig, who was part of the Irish contingent. And Tόμmυ is a dwarf, or a little person, excuse me. And we got chatting, and we got on very well. And it took a couple of years for me to come back to him. We kept in touch. And in 2019, the moment seemed right to get back on the horse. And so I'm collaborating this time with Sparta. I collaborated with an old friend from university, Roddy Gibson. And on Tόμmυ, I'm collaborating with a friend of mine from Chicago, who I acted with back in the 1980s in Edinburgh. So we've got together. He's now a fantastic cameraman and director of photography. So we've got together, and so we're following Tόμmυ as he goes through various competitions. Obviously, things have been complicated in his life and in all our lives because of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has slightly slowed things down, and we're having to alter our our way of working, but it's a very interesting project, and I'm delighted that we've been given backing by Screen Ireland, likes what we're doing, and has given us some backing to help develop the film and push on with it. So yeah, we're kicking on with that, and fingers crossed we'll be able to do more filming during 2021.
Oh, so that's very interesting. So Tόμmυ is a real person. It's not just a figment of your imagination, something you came up with to make a film about. This is real life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's documentary. It's documenting Tόμmy's. Well, I mean, in Britain, Tόμmυ was an obese young man and a somewhat depressed young man, and he discovered powerlifting, and as a little person, he realized it was a great way for him to get himself fit, to deal with the medical issues that affect little people, and he's an incredible personality as well. So he's got so much energy. He's got a real calm about him as well, and he's just a fascinating individual. So we're interspersing. We're looking at the history, not the history of dwarfism, but the way little people have been dealt with in history and dealing with the medical issues and so on. Just to shine a light really on the daily problems that little people have to face and how they get around it, and it's just incredible. I mean, beyond that, he is an athlete, and it's a great sports story watching him compete.
Yes, well, I'm very interested in that because, as you say, as a little person, I mean, and he's entering competitions, but does he? How does that work? Because surely, you know, there is. It must be very difficult. How do the competitions work then?
Well, Tόμmυ is one.
Or are there a lot of little people all taking part? I mean, is it something that a lot of them are interested in, powerlifting?
It's, well, not little people entirely. I mean, Tόμmυ, there aren't too many in Ireland. I suspect, I don't know for certain, but I think Tόμmυ may be one of a very, very small number, perhaps even the only one. Usually, I mean, Tόμmy's the kind of guy, and he works in these gyms, and they don't really give him a quarter. They say if Tόμmυ wants to compete, he's got to compete with everyone else. So he has competed, and he does compete in Paralympic or disability events as well.
Yes.
But he also competes alongside average sized people. So yeah, he's a
well, more power to him. That's amazing. I mean, that's gutsy.
It is gutsy, but power is Tόμmy's middle name. You know, that's it. Yeah. I weigh about 90 kilos. Tόμmυ is, I'm 5'10". Tόμmυ is 4'5" on a good day, as he says, and he also weighs 90 kilos. He's a big boy. He's a powerful.
Okay.
He's much stronger than me. And
I
loved it. I mean, this is one of the things that really I enjoyed, was this notion that when Tόμmy's out, people, we have perceptions of how we see people. We put them in a box straight away. We'll see someone, we'll say, oh, there's a small person there. There's something not quite right. And yet I know that if Tόμmυ is in a room, in a pub, or in a theater or whatever, with average Joes like me,
yes,
he's going to be the strongest of us all.
Yes,
he may be the shortest, but he's also the strongest. And I love this idea of playing with people's perceptions of, you know, what we see is not always what we get. So
he's got a great personality.
He does, absolutely. Yes, I don't think you can make a film about someone if they don't.
No.
He's a good character to follow.
So how far on are you with the film? When are you hoping to wrap it up?
Well, now, Tina, tell me, when is COVID going to be over?
Oh, God, yes. I'd forgotten about that for 2 minutes. I was too busy. I was too interested in your story. I'd forgotten about all that rubbish.
It is.
Okay.
I mean, what happened? Well, we should have wrapped it up pretty much by the end of last year, but the competitions last year were all postponed to this year, and we don't know.
Of course, yeah.
We have dates, but we can't be too certain about when things are happening at the moment, because there are some, we have competitions in Ireland, the UK, and in Chicago in the US, and who knows? We don't know.
Yes.
We've got to be a little bit flexible in terms of this. But that's fine.
You're up against travel as well as competitions. Yeah, you don't know when any of that's going to open up again.
Yeah, which does make life awkward, but it's awkward obviously for filmmakers, no matter where you are in Europe, and obviously for Irish filmmakers at the moment with being in tier 5, I think it's very, very difficult. But films are being made. Where there's a will, there is a way, and people are there. There are an awful lot of creative people in Ireland and in Greece, and these guys, if they want to do it, they will find a way to do it. So things are being done. It's just more awkward. It's more difficult. It's difficult enough in the first place, but obviously this is an extra layer of difficulty. But that goes beyond filmmaking as well. I imagine that's in most industries. There have been problems, obviously, over the last 14 months or so.
Yes, very much so. Tόμmυ, tell me, what advice would you give to Greeks who left Greece, came to Ireland, and want to get into filmmaking? Have you any tips for them? Where would they start?
Well, I mean, Tina, it's a difficult one, and it's very difficult to tell you that in one sentence, because there are so many aspects to filmmaking. You may have somebody who wants to be involved as a cameraman, or as an actor, or as costumes, or as design. There are so many different aspects of it. What I would say is, there are quite a lot of groups on Facebook, which is a good place to start. Join a group. There are various Irish film networks. I don't have them on hand. I'm sorry, I should have written them down and said. But if you scour on Facebook, you will find groups which deal with filmmaking in Ireland. Also, there are various Greek filmmaking groups as well, which are both Ireland and the UK. And obviously, there is a close relationship between filmmakers in the UK and in Ireland as well. So I would say have a look, have a start there. Screen Ireland will give advice, I think, and talk to people. Go to places like the Lighthouse, which is a fabulous theatre when it reopens. That's
in Smithfield, isn't it?
That's correct. Yes.
Yes, I've been there. It is. It's amazing.
Which
great venue.
A little plug here is where we had a wonderful screening of The Road to Sparta in 2017. It was.
Oh, did
fabulous.
you?
Yeah, it was fabulous.
So, and if people wanted to see The Road to Sparta, I mean, how would they go about it?
Well, currently it is available on DVD through me. Basically, yes. It's through
well now, what is do you have a website, Barney, or
if you
how would they get in touch?
Yes, it's the Road to Sparta movie at wordpress.com. Otherwise, by all means, put up my Ragged Rock email address, and people can contact me there.
Brilliant. And what is your Ragged Rock email address?
It's raggedrockfilms@gmail.com.
Oh, that's easy enough. Lovely.
It's easy enough. Exactly.
It is easy enough. Barney, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Very, very interesting. I will be very interested to look out for the film Tόμmυ when it comes out. It's a very, very interesting subject, and I fair play to him. It's not an easy thing to do, and I wish you the very, very best of luck.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Tina. It's been great chatting with you. It's gone very quickly. I'd love to chat to you again and go into a bit more detail on some of these areas. But for the moment, thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thanks. Thank you, Barney. Bye-bye.
Kalispera. Γεια σας.